Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Welcome here. If you are new to the podcast and you're discovering us for the first time, you are welcome here. Today, we are talking about why slower fat loss is better. Now, oftentimes, if you're struggling with fat loss, you know how hard it is to lose weight. We know what it's like to wake up every single morning and you're not seeing any changes at all. In fact, what you are seeing, you feel bloated, more heavy, you have more fat. You're noticing all of the areas that you don't want to notice even more. Even though you're tracking things perfectly, even though you're doing all of the things that Dr. Google said to do, you're still not losing the fat that you want to lose. You're trying to lose fat, get toned, but you can't seem to get the results that you want and that you need. And just makes you even more frustrated and disappointed because you're just not seeing any progress at all. But when it comes to dieting, you feel like you've been doing this for far too long. And all you want is to feel confident in your body. You want to look in the mirror and you want to feel good about yourself. You don't want to keep constantly telling yourself, look at you, you fat marshmallow. These are the things that I used to say to myself every single day. And why do you want to start feeling confident in your body? It's because you're tired of being tired. You know you need to be more realistic about your goals, and you know you struggle with your weight, but you don't want to go on restrictive diets. Let me tell you, friends, you do not have to go on any restrictive diet when you're here on this podcast. I want to teach you today why and how slow fat loss is better, because when it comes to quick fixes, what happens is you lose weight for a little while, then after you get comfortable, you drift back into your old habits, and then you gain back the weight you lost and you gain a little bit more. That's exactly why I created Focus on the Fat Loss, the group coaching program for 20 women who are serious about committing to this and want their fat loss to be slow and steady rather than go into quick fixes and keep regaining the 5 and 10 pounds. If you're ready to find out why slow fat loss is better than quick fixes, then this is the podcast for you. Grab your tea, grab your water, grab your matcha, grab your liquid and beverage of choice. Girl, let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome to VA Nutrition Coaching, the podcast. You are tuned in for another weekly episode, and I am your host, Verona, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm here to give you mindset focused nutrition, weight loss advice that you can keep off for the long term. It's not about restrictive diets here. It's not about cutting out carbohydrates. It's definitely not about cutting out your favorite foods in order to lose weight that, quite frankly, as soon as we've lost it, we end up regaining it and a little bit more. No, friends, I'm here to give you real talk, no nonsense weight loss that you can actually achieve realistically and keep it off. I'm a faith-based woman, also keeping it real when it comes to weight loss and keeping it real when it comes to nutrition, helping you do things that you can actually sustain for a long term. Now, friends, let's get into today's episode. So, my friends, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you're trying to lose weight, slower is better than faster. Now, if you've ever coached with me before, or if you've never coached with me before, one of the coaching sayings that I have is slow and steady Eddie is here with us. Throughout the 8 weeks, Slow and Steady Eddie is the team mascot. Now, this might sound a little cheesy for some people who are like, what's a mascot? But if you are all for the slow and steady, then you exactly understand that. My girls know and my clients know when they do coaching programs with me, anything that can help you remember why you're losing weight and why you're doing this, we've got to do it. They love this slow and steady Eddie. So this is for you. Now, slower is better than faster, and it sounds counterintuitive, right? It sounds like, wait, I want to lose the fastest weight in the quickest way. I want to lose more weight in the fastest, quickest way possible. Because the truth is, we're all taught that in order for you to burn fat, you just need to do exercise more. And then you need to restrict yourself. You need to be in a calorie deficit. Yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit, but there's a group of people that take this calorie deficit to the extreme. Now, a calorie deficit is just reducing the amount of energy that your body is intaking. Now, there are other ways that you can do this personally, but most people are taught that it comes from restricting yourself from calories, eating as little calories as possible, and exercising more than the average person. And oftentimes people think that, oh, if I'm not doing half an hour, then it's not enough. I need to do 45 minutes, or I need to do an hour and 90 minutes. Let me tell you, friends, who has got time to do that? If you're a mom and you've got children, who's got time to be working out an hour and a half every single day, all at one time? Now, you might be able to split that up throughout the day, absolutely. But if you feel like you've got to do an hour or even 2 hours per day just to lose fat faster, whoever told you that information is telling you a lie, and you need to ditch that. It isn't about just eating less, moving more, and you're simply going to lose weight. Because if it was that simple, you wouldn't be overweight, you wouldn't be here listening to this podcast, and I wouldn't have been addicted to food for 20 years of my life. So now that we've got that nonsense out the way, let's take it to some science. Studies actually show that the majority of diets fail because they're not sustainable over a period of time. And fast weight loss isn't any more effective than slow fat loss when it comes to keeping those pesky pounds off for good. So, why does faster fat loss seem so appealing? Now, ask yourself, why is it that you are drawn to those women on Instagram? Because even if you know that your past attempts of dieting have failed, you feel like you can't do it alone. You've been through many diets and it doesn't feel like they're working. No matter what you're doing, they are not working because there's always something missing in them and you just don't seem to know what it is that's missing in them. So you constantly searching for something new, going to social media, or the newest thing is going to TikTok. Even older women, older generation are now going to TikTok to see these influencers for quick fixes, quick TikTok tips. Try saying that fast a few times. And then you're somebody who doesn't want to go on restrictive diet. So you don't want to go on restrictive diet. So you're literally hanging off of the words that every influencer says. But let me tell you, because that is such generic advice, it's not going to apply to everybody. And when it comes to nutrition is personalized. So it's about knowing what works for you. It isn't just as simple as be in a calorie deficit. Yes, you have to be in a calorie deficit, but what does that even mean? My air freshener. Do you even know what calorie deficit means? If some of you don't know what a calorie deficit means, and then you're taking information from women who are in the same place as you trying to lose weight, and and they're telling you, yeah, just eat 800 calories a day. She's telling you to develop a disordered way of eating. That's exactly what she's telling you. She's not telling you in that literal sense, but she's telling you to eating 800 pounds a week unsupervised, you don't need to medically have that low amount of calories for any reason. You're not a 4-year-old, you're not a toddler, and you're not a dog who eats 1200 calories. Now, this might be hard hitting, but it's the reality. This message is damaging to many women like you who are listening to this information, who are desperate to lose fat, that think this is the way that you need to do it. And so that is why the message when it comes to fat loss, it sells so much, because they're selling you a lie that says you got to lose this fat quick. But you know deep down that that is not cutting it for you, because you're trying all of these things and no matter what you're doing, you're not hitting the mark. It's because you are making the wrong choices or choosing the wrong methods to help you lose weight. If you're not doing this slow and steady, it's not going to work for you. And that's it. I can't pretty that up anymore. If you're not doing this slowly, you're not doing this steady, and you're not doing this with sustainable results, you are not going to get the results that you want. You can try, but as you know, no matter what diet you're doing, if you're not doing it slow and steady and working on a personalized approach to you, it's not working. You know that already. I don't need to come to tell you that, because you've already experienced it. You already live it every single day. Imagine if there was no doubt in your mind any longer that you could actually lose weight, since fad diets that you've tried have given you a full sense of hope for weight loss. Imagine if you could be unstuck from all of that all or nothing mentality and feel like you need to give up. Imagine if you learnt to actually love the reflection that you saw back looking in the mirror, rather than calling yourself a marshmallow, fat, mum pooch, and all of these negative names. Imagine if you could be able to do that. Well, my friends, that's exactly why I created Focus on the Fat Loss. If you're tired of wasting money on fad diets, quick fixes, and unsustainable results, and being made to eat broccoli, chicken, and rice every day, and they tell you need to cut out carbs after 6 p.m. So when it turns to 6:01 p.m., you're now afraid to eat a morsel of bread or carbs because you're worried that this is going to cause you to gain fat. If you need an approach to fat loss that works and fits into your lifestyle, and you want to heal your self-sabotage relationship with food, Focus on the Fat Loss is a 4-week nutrition and mindset focused group coaching program where you will have access to recipes, educational videos, live Q&As, and access to Meet Your Girl. But I'm also including the workout library. Friends, if this is you, then head on over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus to sign up to join us. Now, let's get back into today's episode. Okay, so now let's talk about why losing weight slower is the secret sauce for you. Now, when it comes to, before we get into that, the faster that you lose weight, the more likely you are to lose muscle mass. Now, there is an episode that will be coming out talking about what happens when you lose weight too quickly. Now, physically, what that looks like, you can look skeletal like. So, for example, when I did keto a few years back, a family member who hadn't seen me for a long period of time began to be exceedingly concerned for me because they thought that I was sick. And that's what happens when you're sick, like you have a sickness, even if it's a form of food poisoning, but you have that for a long period of time, because your body is not used to getting the right amount of calories or energy that it normally has. If you have that sickness for a period of time, you then start to have that look where you look gaunt or you look sickly. And that's the concern that the family member had. They asked me, "You've lost so much weight rather quickly." That shows how fat I was. But they actually said, "You've lost weight rather quickly. Were you sick?" But I wasn't. I was doing keto. But that's the difference. When you're losing weight quickly, when you're losing not just water weight, you're also losing muscle mass. This is the look that you get. And a lot of influencers or fitfluencers online have that look. They don't have much muscle definition, even though they are doing muscle programs. They don't have as much muscle definition as they should, because they're losing weight rapidly. And when they're losing weight rapidly, they're also losing muscle mass. So you don't get that defined look if you're building muscle. And for example, you cannot build muscle on 800 calories per day. So if you're somebody who's trying to build muscle on 1200 calories, 800 calories, 1100 calories per day, you're going to need a lot more energy to do that, because the energy expenditure is greater when you're doing muscle. When you're burning muscle, when you need an energy source in it to enable you to get through that. And that energy source is carbohydrates. So if you're somebody who's afraid of carbohydrates, don't be scared of carbohydrates, because they are not the enemy. If you're somebody who's been medically advised to reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you eat, it is more than likely that the doctors or medical care professionals have advised you to reduce the simple carbohydrates that give us energy quickly, but then also give us the sugar crash. Now, I talk about this a lot more in Focus on the Fat Loss when we're going through these things to help you reform your relationship with food and to reform your mindset when it comes to yourself and your body. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are needed, especially if you're somebody who is trying to lose weight. So, slower fat loss has a higher success rate than fast weight loss does, which is the biggest reason why it is better for you to lose weight slow and steady Eddie, than it is to do a quick fix, i.e., keto. Now, I'm not a fan of the ketogenic diet because it is not a diet for a lifetime, as many people say, because your body does need a source of carbohydrates. What it doesn't need is the high portion of carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates that we put in our diets on a day-to-day basis. Yes, they taste good, but they are not the only source of food that we need on a daily basis. So this is why and how slower fat loss is better is how your body responds to fat loss. When you lose weight too quickly, your body will start to fight back by resisting further weight loss or even trying to gain some of it back. Now, this isn't starvation mode. Starvation mode isn't actually a real thing. It was an experiment that was done many, many, many years ago to see what would happen to the body. Now, real starvation is in the Western world and underdeveloped countries. Our bodies don't go into starvation mode, but what it does, your body will prevent you from losing weight, which is often why the last 5 or 10 pounds are the hardest to lose, because your body wants to stay at the point that it's always been used to. Now, if you're somebody who has yo-yo dieted, now you can go and have a listen to the episode I did about yo-yo dieting, and see how you come up and how you measure on that episode to see if you're in a yo-yo diet and how you can stop being in a yo-yo diet. So when your body starts to respond to that, that is where you need to focus on. So Focus on the Fat Loss, we're talking a lot more about that. We're talking about in a lot more detail, and the waitlist is open now for you to join if this is something that you are interested in. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus to get your place signed up and secured. There are only 20 places. So when you start to lose weight slowly, your body will then have time to adjust your metabolism, and then it will start to get used to burning less energy each day, which will make maintaining your slower rate of fat loss easier over a period of time. So in short and in summary, slow fat loss produces more stable results over a longer period of time than focusing on quick fixes and fast fat loss, quote unquote. So these are the characteristics that you want when you're trying to manage your weight loss. And that's the things that I'm taking into consideration, which is why I also created You Can Eat That, which is the macros bundle. I calculate your macros based on the information that you tell me over a period of weeks, and this is mainly for the person who doesn't need the coaching, doesn't want the accountability, doesn't want the group support of other like-minded women. They just want to get on and do it themselves. If you're somebody who wants to have your macros makeover, the link is in the show notes below. So the second reason why slower weight loss is better is slower fat loss produces more stable weight loss results over a period of time. 4 reasons why slow fat loss produces more stable weight loss results over a longer period of time. It's better for your overall health, your mental health, and physical health. Slower fat loss is better for your body composition, so your body is going to look better with less body fat, including some resistance and strength training. Don't worry, my friends, I'm not going to make you look bulky with the training exercises that we do. Slower fat loss is also better for your metabolic health and your energy overall. The next reason why slow fat loss is much better than any form of quick fat loss any day is you will feel better with slower fat loss. Now, slow fat loss doesn't mean that you're not going to get any results. It doesn't mean that it's just taking long and weeks and weeks and weeks. We tend not to get results when we're doing inconsistent things and when we're doing things that are quick fixes and unsustainable. When I'm coaching you, when I'm coaching my clients, what we're doing is working through that. So the macros makeover is literally me walking you through that, as is the same on focus on the fat loss. So we're all doing it together as a group. Everybody, every 20 of you are doing this together with me in the group, and then we can begin to see over a period of time we're getting you more stable weight loss results. So if you're somebody who wants quick fixes, if you're somebody who wants to do keto, if you're somebody who wants to do Beachbody, you're somebody who wants to do Whole30, if you're somebody who wants to do MLM weight loss supplements, this isn't going to be for you. The reason why it's not going to be for you is it doesn't take your personalized body composition, your metabolic health, it doesn't take your overall health, mental health, and physical health into consideration. It's a generic plan that's given to thousands of people. Some get results, some don't get results, but actually what they focus on is a restrictive way of losing fat instead of teaching you how to have a healthy relationship with your body, yourself, your mind, and focusing on long-term sustainability. The key to slower fat loss is you're going to end up feeling better with slower fat loss, as opposed to fat loss that's quick and fat loss that is resulted in fad diets. And when it comes to losing weight, how you feel is the most important thing, because when it comes to feeling good, it's more important than any number on the scale or the percentage of body fat that you have in your body. Now, it's important to take those things into consideration, but it's also important to remember not to get lost or caught up in that. So then you start to see yourself as a number, the scale's not going down, you start to internalize it, and the whole fear of rejection starts to play over in your mind. Then you start to go and snack and do comfort food eating and emotional eating, and then you end up gaining the 5 pounds back that you've lost anyway. So I am telling you, when it comes to slow fat loss, it's slow, but it's steady. And it's something that you will begin to feel all over in your body over a longer period of time. These are the benefits. These are not all of them, but these are some of the benefits that you will begin to feel so that you can start to continue the long-term slow journey. We are coming to the end. We're drawing to the end of this episode. And if you like this episode, don't forget to leave a review over on iTunes and share this with somebody who is fed up of dieting, somebody who's fed up of restricting themselves from foods, and someone who is literally ready to change the way. Somebody who has failed at dieting over and over again, and she feels that she can't do it alone. Share it with her. If you've got a friend that feels like that, she's been through so many diets, it doesn't feel like they're working, share this with her, because she needs to hear it just like you need to hear it. So what other benefits are there when you're starting to lose fat a lot slower? Well, if you're somebody who likes exercise, your workouts are going to be more enjoyable and you're going to get more out of them when you start to lose fat at a slower pace. Now, if you're somebody who's focused on quick fixes and you're cutting out carbohydrates, for example, you're not going to have the energy to do a workout anyway. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel lethargic. It is not going to be a sustainable or effective for you to lose weight, because you need energy. Just like a car, when it's running out of petrol, or diesel, whatever your car, or electric. Either way, whatever it is that your car uses for fuel, if you don't have enough of that, or if you are running out of steam or running out of fuel, you will feel that. The car starts to feel it, but you as the driver will also start to feel that there's something funny. The car's not running as it normally does. And sometimes physically, the car can begin to jugger. That's what I call it. It comes to jolt back and forth, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Almost like if you drive a manual. Not many people drive manuals these days, but if you drive a manual and the car's just about to stall out because it hasn't got, you're not giving it enough gas, and you're riding the clutch and the brake, if you're not giving it enough gas, that's when you start to get that. So you've got to give it more gas for it to go. That's the same with our bodies. The carbohydrates is the energy, is the source for our bodies. Now, there are some people who can live like that for a short period of time, but then there comes a time where your body starts to actually start to break down. The functionality in your body starts to break down. If our bodies were designed to run off fat, that's how we would be made. We wouldn't need carbohydrates to produce other things in our body to make our muscles move. Now, that's a separate episode altogether. If you're somebody who's interested in the science behind the ketogenic diet, then you can go listen to the episode. I'll link it in the show notes below. All of the episodes that I've talked about in today's episode, I will link in the blog and also in the show notes below. And speaking of show notes, you can go to read the blog on the website and you can download that. So when you're enjoying your workouts more and you'll get more out of them, you start to lose fat at a slower pace because you're able to do more reps, you're able to do more sets and exercises in your workouts. And no workouts are not just burpees. I hate burpees. Even as a personal trainer, I'm like, why do people actually get you to do this workout? If you're somebody who has joint issues, it's not a very good workout for you to do. You're also causing extra strain and stress on your knee when it doesn't need to. Also, high intensity interval training is highly stressful on your body. It's effective. It's an effective exercise for those of you who are medically cleared to do so. Fantastic. But it is so stressing on your body, which is why they recommend that you have at least 72 hours between the exercises, which literally means if you do it on Monday, your next workout probably won't be towards the end of the week, Thursday or Friday, because of how much exertion that your body is going through to perform these high intensity exercises. You might see the trainers looking all lean, defined, their abs, all of that stuff. But I'm telling you, even though they are trainers, they are susceptible to injury themselves. And I've seen many coaches actually do that whilst doing lunges. They've injured themselves because of the overuse of the muscle, because of the overuse of the joints. High intensity interval training is exactly as the name suggests. It is high intensity, but it is something that can be effective as and when. That is where personalized approach comes from. So lastly, in wrapping up, when it comes to losing weight and getting results that last, slow and steady will always win the race, and it is also the safest pace to go at on a consistent level. When you lose weight slowly, your body has a chance to adjust to the changes that are happening in your diet and exercise patterns. You're also going to avoid feeling deprived. Believe me, have you ever felt deprived? Being in a calorie deficit, you start off a little bit hungry because your body is used to getting more food, but when your body starts to adjust to that, then it becomes a way of life in this period and time that you're in. And it's not about thinking being hungry or reducing yourself to extremely low calories is an indication that you're doing this right. If you're running out of calories by the end of the day, i.e. 5 p.m., that is not an indication that you're doing things right, and some things just need to be tweaked. The key here is being consistent. It's not about how fast or how slow that you're losing weight. It's about how long it takes for those pounds to come off and stay off. If your goal is 10 pounds, to lose 10 pounds by next month's barbecue, great. But if that takes 6 months of dedicated effort and hard work, then so be it. It doesn't mean just because you set your goal for 10 pounds to lose next month's barbecue that you're actually going to achieve it, because there are so many different dynamics that you need to take into consideration that a generalized weight loss plan or meal plan from the internet does not cover. Now, what does this mean for you, friends? It means that a slow and steady approach to fat loss is the best option for you and anyone looking to get in shape and build healthy foundations with food, nutrition, mindset, and their body. Slower fat loss, which is literally why I've created Focus on the Fat Loss, because over the 8 weeks, we are literally going through things like this on a deeper level to really hone in to build healthy results for women who are ready to come away from consistently trying to lose weight but always failing, ready to come away from the whole frustration that your clothes don't fit you anymore. You want to be able to wear cute clothes but you can't find anything that fits you, so you end up eating more because you're frustrated, because you weigh more, you're tired of being the fat friend. Hello, I was that fat friend that every time I walked into a room, they weren't looking at me because of my beauty, they were looking at me because of my size. And that's exactly why I created Focus on the Fat Loss, to help you do that. If you don't know what Focus on the Fat Loss is, head over to vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus to sign up and reserve your place. There are only 20 spots. Friends, it's been a great episode. I've enjoyed doing this episode. This is why, my friends, faster, slower fat loss is better for you to lose weight. Can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Hey friend, you made it to the end of the episode. What was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review over on iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's episode, or you need help, then you can contact me over on Instagram at VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast, or email me support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, or you can head over to the Facebook page VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast. It helps us reach even more women who are fed up with dieting, don't know how to lose weight. They're frustrated with following Sally's results and they're not getting any of their own, and they just finally want to shed some pounds and do it in a way that they can sustain and they can enjoy. But my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Until then, friends, stay healthy, stay blessed, and remember, if you haven't already downloaded your 5-ingredient recipe pack, you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes and download your 5-ingredient recipe pack. Who said healthy eating was boring? See you next time, friends.